Happening now, researchers with Microsoft recently found a gap in biosecurity. Artificial intelligence can rewrite the genetic blueprints of deadly toxins like ricin that can slip past safety checks and still produce the poison. Researchers use their work to strengthen detection systems, but evolving AI could still outpace those updated systems. Earlier today, I talked with AI and automation expert Dr. Patrick Dix about how the technology could enable the creation of bioweapons and the safeguards that might be needed in the future.
Right, Dr. Dick. So we've just recently heard about AI being possibly used to create biological weapons. This is very, very scary when people read an article like this. So
Mhm.
what's fact and what's fiction at this point?
Well, with artificial intelligence, we not only have companies using it to eliminate processes and jobs, but now you can take someone that has little medical experience, any research experience, any chemistry experience, and they can now use artificial intelligence to create some biological weapon. And when I say create a biological weapon, I want the viewers and I want people out there to understand we're talking about something that can cause grave injuries or death to people. And not just in America, you have adversaries across the world. We have other countries that can do this. So just because we're reporting about it in the United States of America doesn't mean an adversary out there isn't trying to already do this. And that's why, we were talking about the ethics and the regulations of artificial intelligence. That's why we have to implement something or put something in place because I'm a great advocate for technology. But when it comes to these types of things, this is where we have to throw up a stop sign and say, stop. We can't use it for this. Now, we're going to use it to create vaccines and to help with cancer treatments. But when you're talking about using a piece of software, when you're talking about using technology to cause great harm to people, to the environment, to plants, etc., then we have major problems.
Where does the risk start?
Well, the risk starts with AI being rarely regulated, not being regulated like it should. And when I say regulated, anyone that has a phone, anyone that has a computer has the opportunity and has access to ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, various search engines, and they can learn about how to do this. And then you have your people out there. We all know things are going on in the world right now. Mental health is getting worse. You have people that'll say, "Well, I'm going to use AI to create some biological weapon." You think about things that have happened in the past where countries have used biomedical weapons on their people, or they've used it to start wars or etc. You think about if somebody could actually replicate that, how could we stop it? Because you think about something like mustard gas or something. I'm just going to throw that one out because a lot of people know what that is. If someone was to replicate mustard gas and has no chemical or biological expertise, they can use artificial intelligence. And even if they couldn't use artificial intelligence, they can take two or three pieces and put it together and say, now I know what to do.
So that's really scary. And in our previous conversations, you've talked about
Hmm.
several different countries who are 10, 15 years ahead of us when it comes to how to use AI. And then you've also spoken to
Hmm.
me about the lack of safety guards in place here in the United States when it comes to AI. So when we're talking about a possible biological weapon with the use of AI, that is really scary. We have to have some sort of safety guards in place, don't we, right now? Or how is our government trying to combat this right now?
Well, many of the governments, federal, local, and state governments are meeting on different types of things, pertaining to deep fakes, using someone's likeness. But no one right now is talking about how do we keep threat actors. When I say a threat actor, how do we keep somebody from outside the United States and somebody inside the United States actually just getting a hold of AI to try to create a biological weapon? And I want to explain to the viewers out there. So this is a drone right here. You might see kamikaze drones. You might see other types of drones. A kamikaze drone is one of the ones that will crash into something and explode with a payload. So you could take a drone like this and you could use AI to create a biological weapon. You could have a vial about that big and you could put it on here and just let it fall out into a group of people indiscriminately and nobody knows what happened. And if it's the same color, let's say of smoke or something, the drone is flown away and people are like, oh, it must be smoke. And then about 30 to 60 days later, you realize it was a biological weapon and now it has massively spread. And the person that did that used artificial intelligence to learn how to research it, how to put it on the drone, how to get it to the place, and how to execute the plan.
And this is particularly scary because we have
Hmm.
shot down drones time and time again that were, of concern, of safety risk to our general population. But if you drop just a vial of something that could be potentially deadly to, thousands, if not millions of people, my concern right now is, we couldn't shoot it down in time. So where's the government on protecting the whole population when it comes to talking about something like this?
This is why they need to meet and they need to put that on the forefront to say, hey, we need to block people or we need to alert the FBI or ATF or somebody. If you do certain searches online, you get a call or you get the ATF, FBI, CIA, or somebody showing up at your door. Now we have to take that same approach. And when somebody is searching on how do I create a biological weapon with AI, excuse me, artificial intelligence should be able to take that IP address and said, hey, this is what the person was searching for, just like they do with Google, and said, hey, this is the person you need to go talk to them, and we need to have law enforcement also go talk to them and see what's going on. But also, we need to take the next step with legislation to say, hey, this is punishable by this many years, or if you're even thinking about trying to conspire to do something like this is going to be the penalty that you face. It's going to be hard to stop something like this. People searching because there are just so many engines and there's so much AI out there to where if we don't do something soon, you're not going to be able to stop it. You need to intervene as soon as possible.
Yeah, and that seems like such a
Yeah.
basic step, but my concern would be about a chemist or a biologist
Hmm.
or someone who doesn't have to research that, so they're not going to get
Hmm.
flagged because they already know how to make that and then just incorporate AI on their own. And it sounds like right now we're just at the very forefront of this conversation, and there's no way to stop something like that from happening. So let's talk about the safeguards we have right now besides just that. What are your concerns with the lack thereof right now when we're talking about safety in the United States?
My biggest thing right now is anybody, as I stated earlier, can pick up a phone, they can get internet access, they can use AI to do whatever. We see it on TV and we see with kids using AI to turn in their assignments. Right now, there are policies being created, but the policies cannot stay up to date with the academic curriculum. It can't stay up to date on what's going on. So we're already playing from behind. The next big thing I'm concerned about is, are we too late with a lot of these things? It's just replicating and it's moving so fast. I ask myself, if we create a policy, is it too late for this? And are we thinking down the future? And when I say too late, I'm saying at this moment in time, will it deal with this? And if we move further, how would the policy adjust to it? I don't want to give people panic out there, let them know, hey, he's saying we're too late for anything. We're not too late. It's just saying for this moment in time in January 2026, will this policy endure to the end of the year or do we have to put something else in? The biggest thing we have to do is we have to continue to move forward. Sorry about that. We have to continue to move forward and think about what else could someone do with artificial intelligence? What regulations? Just sit down and we need to have people brainstorm and think about the craziest things. When you think about it and you sit there and think nobody would do it, we need to put some policy in place because there's somebody out there will say, I'm going to test the waters to see if I can get away with this.
Yeah, and that's the scary part. We've
Yeah.
seen drones and other apparatuses get really
Hmm.
dangerously close to the White House
Yes.
before they were caught or shot down. So who knows what could happen with this? You mentioned that government meeting that will happen in the near future. What is the main thing that you hope comes out of an important meeting like that?
The biggest thing, I hope that we see where we are and where we want to go, and we're protecting people from artificial intelligence. It's going to continue to innovate and we're going to push the boundaries. But the biggest thing I would like to see out that meeting is you can use artificial intelligence for part A, you can use it for part B. When you come to part C, you got to get approval. When you come to part D, it is a no go. You can't use it for that. You can use it for part A, part B, and some of part C with the proper authorization. But when you get to part D, is a no-no. And if you not close, if you go to part D, these are the penalties. This is the jail time. And these are the serious things that are going to happen to you for trying to use it for something that we haven't approved it for.
Yeah, a clear roadmap when it comes to something like this.
Hmm.
Of all the topics we've covered between the two of us, when it comes to AI in relation to a biological weapon is by far the
Hmm.
scariest to date. Patrick, thank you.